fix the options.
Ladies and gentlemen, bienvenidos again to another episode of my video review and comparisons. Today we have another re-release / remastered. It's Resident Evil 4, and I know, yes, you're going to say again, Hebot, why are you doing these? We don't want remasters for a lot of people, but you know what? To be honest with you, for some people, they actually like this stuff, and they're curious to see what type of changes they bring to the table with every iteration that they bring out. And like I explained to you before in previous videos, if it makes sense and there's enough tweaking and changes, then I can recommend it. By doing these videos, hopefully by getting more in depth and detail with my expression of looking at it visually in person, in real time, as you see here, I'll be able to hopefully bring out enough messaging to people out there to see if they're in the fence, if they want to purchase the game again or not. Now, Resident Evil 4, as we all know, is probably the most sought after Resident Evil game of all time. Next to Resident Evil 2, obviously, which they're remaking that from scratch. We'll be seeing soon, for what I understand, sometime early next year. And the ever underground but always ever loved Code Veronica for the Dreamcast. Now, as you can see here, we're in the beginning menu, and I have here on my, which you would see in the video on my right, is the 360 version, and on my left is the Xbox One version. This game just came out literally today. It's a $20 buy. We already owned it originally digitally from the 360 marketplace a while back. So I went today because my son is a very big fan of the game. Wanted to get it for, obviously, to achieve more achievements because he knows the game in and out pretty much. And, you know, acquire it for the differences. The game is only $20. I had a $10 coupon, so in reality, I only paid $10. Now, that's not bad for the fact that, you know, it's still a quality game, even though it's very old. We're talking about almost 20 years. This game first resided and came out on GameCube originally. Then it was remastered for the PS2. Then it came out for the 360 and PC. And now on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, respectively. So we're going to get into it, see what are the details, and I'm going to explain it to you, break it down to you the best I can, like I said. And hopefully this will help you out. And, you know, I'll keep your attention and not bore you to death. So let's start here. We're in the both main menus. And assistants, please, be so kind, start up the game.
Resident Evil 4.
We still got that eerie, you know, voiceover intro for announcing the actual title of the game.
I'll never forget it.
Now,
it was the year when those grisly murders occurred in the Arklay Mountains.
This is the intro. For those who are not familiar, we probably could actually skip it to kill some time.
The virus broke out.
Okay. Now, I do know there was a CG introduction where he's driving in a police vehicle, because the story, or rather backstory of this game, is that Leon is trying to find the president's daughter. I believe her name is Ashley. And basically, he's somewhere in Spain. Now, this game I like for that reason, for, you know, alone, very much, because they depict the Spanish culture and language of Spain pretty detailed and accurate, if you ask me. Even in the text lingo of the language. The way they speak the italic Spanish is very accurate and very iconic, if you will. As you can see here, we're already in the beginning stage of the game. If you guys turn around, so we can see the vehicle which he pulled in on. As you see there, and the cops are waiting for him. Walk up to the vehicle, and I believe it gives you a prompt to say talk. Yeah, there you go.
Forget your makeup or something?
Okay, now, let's get into what the differences are that I can see right here in person live. First and foremost, it seems to me that the camera on the Xbox One version is a little closer in, so you have a better maybe peripheral view. And the 360, it's a little bit panned out. You can see that the colors and the blacks on the Xbox One are more of a natural color. It's not overly black. You have better lighting, so it makes it feel more natural. It almost gives it a more photorealistic look. Now, I will tell you, it isn't 1080p native on the Xbox One, as opposed to the Xbox 360, which is 720p upscaled to 1080p. So because of this, you have a lot of differences as far as noticeable jaggies. The game looks a lot softer on the Xbox One, not as much with the jags. And the details are very sharp and very vivid. Now, the problem is, you guys can keep moving and play the game, so they can see more of what's going on. The problem is that because it's so soft and so detailed, the detail of the texture work, since it's a very old game, okay, you can see how bad the quality is, because the game's already, like I said, about 20 years old. And since it's so vividly crisp and smooth on the Xbox One, you can see all those low-res textures. And, that might not sit well with a lot of people, because we've been spoiled with great-looking games like, a Battlefield or a Rise, to name just a few.
Excuse me.
You see
Sir?
here, it's almost frame for frame identical. I think the Xbox One version might be loading just a tad faster, and it's very little, very, very little. And I will tell you for a fact, it's 100% 60 frames on the Xbox One. On the 360, it's 30 frames.
Sorry to bother.
I don't notice any screen tearing so far, but I don't think that existed on the 360 either. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it, because it's been a long time. One, since I played the game and beat it, and two, since I actually never had the privilege to put in a side-by-side comparison with a superior version like the Xbox One version, obviously, in this case. So, as you see here, it has more of a washed-out, realistic color palette on the Xbox One. On the 360, it has more of a brown, monochronic, or a pastel type of look. And color, it's more like a copper brownish.
Is everything okay?
The details are fairly decent here on the menu where you speak to your agent over the mic. Because that's one of the gimmicks of the game. He has a mic on his ear the whole time, a Bluetooth. And he speaks to his agent from Umbrella Corps to help him out. This is one of the first scenarios that you have, where you have to try to kill some people and escape. You get pretty much thrown right into the action as soon as the game starts. As you saw there, on the window, you see the mist of the dust coming in, or from the dust in the air in the cabinet, from the sunlight, more pronounced on the Xbox One than on the 360. That's a major difference, but you can see it right on the camera, hopefully. I think you get some type of icon, and prompts you to do something. There you go, to jump out the window. Jumps into a CG. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. I really don't understand why a lot of people hated Resident Evil 5 or even 6. Because to be honest with you, I feel that Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 was kind of the evolution of what this game started and what it stemmed and what it created. The art, the palette, the architecture, if you will, of what the game should have felt like. This game still feels heavy in control. For example, when you're aiming, it's very stiff, because you can't really move as you're aiming. And it maybe gave you the ability to have more accurate shooting capabilities, but it just feels dated, I guess is what I'm saying. And when you played Resident Evil 5, they added the new dynamic where you would be able to play in co-op. And it was in Africa, which was pretty scary, because, the African zombies look really scary with blood coming out of their eyes and things like that. But it felt for me like an evolution. It felt like the right evolution. I think the game deserved more merit, and it's being always been overshadowed and under the wing, if you will, or you're under the shadows of this game here, which is Resident Evil 4. I guess Resident Evil 4 resonated well with a lot of people because although it had a modern feel, it had a lot of the very older elements from the original Resident Evils, like the tank controls. In this case, like you saw, you got to collect ribbons for your save points. That makes a more intense feel because, you know, if you don't save or don't have enough ink and you're in a situation where you don't want to die or it's very delicate, you're more than likely going to die and have to start all over, which makes the game extremely challenging because of that. So again, I do agree this is one of the better Resident Evils. So what I'm going to say is, if I had to give an honest opinion and review of is this game worth purchasing again, my answer will be no. If you played the game originally, not at all. Because the differences are not enough to warrant a purchase. Now, with that being said, if you're a big fan of the game and love the original game and want the superior version, then yes, the fact that it's only $20, then yes, I recommend to go out and buy it. Because even though it doesn't have a lot of changes, the changes that are there are pretty cool, especially if you're a fan of the game. But me personally, if you wait for it to be $10, I think that is the sweet spot and the perfect price for the game. And I think a lot of people would not regret owning it or buying it again if it was sold for $10. Because at least with Resident Evil 6 and 5, the games were more up to date, more modern, because they were made for 360 and the PS3 era. They don't feel as old and dated as this one. That is my only reason why I'm saying that this game shouldn't be $20, because it's a very old game, and this is the 4th re-release of the game. So again, differences are colors, more natural, more better lighting, a lot better anti-aliasing, a smoother look. The details stand out a lot more, 60 frames per second, 1080p native. Obviously, it updated audio. They didn't rework the audio. It's still the same ambient noises and sounds, and even the same music, which is okay because it gives you that eerie feeling. But they're, I guess, in a higher quality, a more 5.1 HD sound, if you will. So again, anyway, those are the differences. You know, for the big fans and enthusiasts, yes, go out and get it. Especially if you have the physical copy, you can trade it in. Maybe get a couple bucks and get this for maybe like $10, $15, and you have nothing to lose. You have the superior version. For those who enjoyed it on the GameCube, PS2, PC, or 360 or Xbox, 360 Xbox Live, or the PS3 PSN Live, really, the reality, unless you're a big fan, I don't recommend it. As you can see, even the HUD for the the upgrading system of your inventory, whether it's your bullets and the guns and your healing and your herbs, is all the same. The game is almost identical, other than for the changes I told you. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope this helps a lot of people out that may run into the video. I hope I was as coherent and informative as possible. I want to give a big shout out to my two boys that helped me create and make this possible. Because while I record, they play. Because by myself, this would be impossible. So they made it happen and made it possible. Thanks, you guys, for coming in and checking it out. For all those who join and subscribe. And remember, like, comment, and share. And remember, if you subscribe, I'm very grateful, because I know you don't have to. But if you do, you become part of my family. So if you want to check out more of my videos, you can check me out at intromediagaming.com with Mr. 100 in the gang. If you want to come check me out on Facebook, on my Facebook group, we're called the World of Xbox /device. We can check us out there with my boy New Legal Felon and Mario Giuseppe and Israel Rules and Sean Raleigh. And as a matter of fact, shout out to Sean Raleigh, because I got to do a Borderlands the Handsome Edition comparison, which I promised him I would do it. I haven't forgotten, buddy. I just haven't been able to get my hands on the 360 version. As soon as I do, I promise I will do it. Just for you. And, shout outs to my boy, E-Rock 8150, Sega Forever, Master Chief, Merkham, Tuckmaster, Big Kahuna, J Long, Collider, Ghost, Wolf, all the guys in the usual suspects. Thanks again for joining me. Have a good night. And remember, Xbox for life, like a sickness that can't be cured. Love you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Peace.